then you probably win easy. Anyhow, to start off this series, spawning over in the top left of Death Aura as the Red Terran, it is SpeCial.
And down in the bottom right-hand side from KaiZ Gaming, we've got the Blue Terran player, INnoVation.
So, Wardy, do you also, filter your mic with a sock?
There's been very few times I've put a sock over my microphone. If I'm going to be honest with you, Ben, it feels like a very special maneuver.
I mean, it is a special maneuver, you know?
He's not even dragged that on the whole way. It's a bit floppy at the end.
Yeah, he went about that in the most half-assed way you can go about it. He's like, oh, what's a nice, neat fix to this popping sound of my mic? Oh, I put a sock on it? Okay. And then I'm going to just put it a little bit on, not even the full way kind of thing. What a melon. Anyhow, they're both actually opting for the same build. This is kind of a new build in TVT. I know that might sound a bit weird, but this really came about in the King of Battles tournament where we had so much TVT. It's barracks first into double gas. Very different to the gas first into double gas. You just get out your first Reaper quite a bit quicker. Your factory slightly later, but this turns out to be a very safe build and usually allows you to have quite a few different openings, maybe with like an early medevac and stuff, in which case the other build, it was very, very centered around the fact that you'd always kind of go for a Raven first. This one, you can mix it up quite a lot more.
Yeah, there's been a lot of variety in TVT lately, right? And that's what makes the matchup so tricky and why a lot of games can end early. Because if you just don't have that little misread, if your opponent ends up being more aggressive than you think they're going to be, and you're out of position, you're not quite responding properly, they get a siege up, and that siege up can be impossible to break, right? So that mix-up and that variety in TVT lately has been extremely fun to watch develop.
Yeah, definitely. I always love when new builds enter a matchup in which we thought it was very much one way. INnoVation comes over here, will deny the SCV, building the CC, and it looks like the same will be said for SpeCial, though he does meet the Reaper. INnoVation actually got the first shot off here, so he's doing the nice micro move, and the first Reaper,
Ooh.
He kind of messed up his micro a little bit there, and he, like a stutter step, allowed it to get away, but we do see that INnoVation is going to track it down. SpeCial is actually going up to a third Reaper with his build, so a little bit of a mix-up, or this is the first bit of deviation on both sides we see. But definitely we can give the credit to INnoVation for being a little bit ahead here, given that you got the Reaper kill.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to add that extra Reaper on from SpeCial's point of view, and then you're still only on the same amount of Reapers, then it's like, well, what do you really do with that, right? Now INnoVation has a reactor to work with. He's adding on another Reaper as well, so that's going to be his fourth Reaper of the game. It's just a lot of gas investment on Reapers if you then don't make something happen with them.
A lot of investment, yeah. I don't know whether this is down to the fact that he lost a Reaper and he's like, aha, the last thing my opponent will expect is me kind of going gung-ho on the Reapers and doing some damage. Like, that could be kind of a cool mind game thing going on there. But also, if that was his plan to make a lot of Reapers and he ends up losing his first one, I mean, that obviously really sucks for him. But yeah, we do see INnoVation's going for that medevac, and SpeCial on the other side of things is going for the Banshee, the cloakless Banshee. And these are some of the weird deviations we've seen in a lot of these builds with this new opening, and it's made TVT so volatile at the start of the game.
Yeah, the cloakless Banshee seems like such a random thing, but it's actually really good defensively. And then one Banshee can still do a lot across the map, right? You can still trade out for like 2-3 SCVs, and if it's helped you to defend as well, it's been a great investment. And so here we go. Let's see what happens here, because we have a lot of units on either side. You can see INnoVation kind of wants to get the tank unloaded, maybe, I was going to say to the left before anything else, but he's actually going to get sieged up in the main, so you will maybe look for a cancel here. As that Banshee, it's going to be a big part of this defense.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the siege up, actually, and 2 Cyclones are out. Only 1 lock-on, and the tank and the medevac does get away. These Hellions and the Reaper, though, in the natural, getting 5 SCVs. It was... the big punch was obviously the medevac, but the thing that ended up dealing a lot more damage was the Reaper and the Hellions, so nice play by Inno.
Yeah, good little multi-prong, right? You kind of say, right, this is the point you need to worry about, and then you actually go elsewhere for your main focus in damage. And now you come out 8 workers or so ahead, so INnoVation gets a big lead. We'll see what SpeCial can do because he still has some more mobile units to come across the map with. And he's still got that Banshee. I think the Banshee is maybe best hope of getting a couple workers, but Marines getting into position, and this Banshee's time is limited in terms of what it can get done here. With only really, Reaper, Helene, Cyclone, you're not going to push into these 2 tanks successfully. Well, one just unsieged at the wrong moment there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate timing for Inno. That Banshee can be a little bit useful, like, say if you're doing a Viking push kind of thing. It just adds to the support, but it feels like INnoVation is going to switch into Vikings a little bit faster here. Like, his second Raven is faster. He obviously dealt the economic damage faster. And the only thing that SpeCial has ahead on him is the fact that his third base started off so early, but we saw that left him a little bit vulnerable to taking damage. Oh, look at INnoVation here. He's actually plonking down a barracks on the tech lab there, which is very indicative of the fact that he wants to get combat shield super early. So we might see a very, very aggressive INnoVation very early on here.
Yeah, making that move to go double tech lab, right? It's very kind of out there unless he really expects something like he needs to have heavy marauders against, like mech, but this is not going to be mech from SpeCial. So yeah, definitely intrigued to see where that takes us. As it's not the most normal. I mean, just not even building Vikings as well, right? He's like, okay, I've got 2 Ravens, that's it. I'm also not going to put my starport on that reactor. I'm just going to play straight up like a lot of bio. Feels like INnoVation's goal is to play like a lot of the map and to not be too worried about going overly tech heavy or overly focused on that air battle.
Yeah, I'll be with this scan. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a cancel on that Marauder, honestly, because I think he was for a while here thinking it was probably mech. That being said, he continues with the Marauder. He's got it out now. He does float the factory back to that tech lab. So yeah, I think he was assuming mech. Like, that's the only thing that absolutely makes sense here. That being said, didn't take too much damage from anything that's gone on. That Banshee did come back and get a few SCV kills. So yeah, we talked about this earlier in the series with Raynor and stuff, right? Like that retention of units. That Banshee, despite being against Cyclone and lots of Marines and stuff, still managing to poke and prod and forcing turrets, actually.
Yeah, it's nice. It's done a lot more than I feel like you'd expect. Like I say, a lot more than you expect a Cloakless Banshee to do. Double Matrix hits the Ravens of INnoVation, so he doesn't get a lot of energy usage out of them, and he's losing them before they'll come out of that, and that's a great siege from SpeCial. He will now still have the tank advantage to push forward with here.
This is super bad for Inno. I can't believe that he got so caught out of position here. He's going to lose the tank as well.
Oh, I thought the Banshee was going to get it, but he doesn't quite get it, but he does get the rest of the tank sieged up. SCVs have to pull in to fight this, and SpeCial's going to continue to do a lot of damage. They'll try to drop on top of these tanks now. A couple of Vikings off to the side are actually going to be pretty useful. INnoVation has to lift up and get out of there. 13 SCVs have gone down already.
Yeah, that really came down to that nice interference matrix by SpeCial on both the Ravens. They were just, floating punching bags at that point, and I think SpeCial's actually going to take this first game. That is a nice counter drop by INnoVation, though. He does have better upgrades available, and he actually takes out the entire army of SpeCial. SpeCial is now going to be on the defense, and INnoVation, very miraculous cleanup, but those upgrades certainly came in very handy there.
Wow, this is actually going to be kind of scary. 1-1 combat shields versus all of those upgrades missing from SpeCial. This is actually a very scary couple of moments where a drop in the right place can do so much damage, because SpeCial just doesn't even matter about the amount of units. The quality of his units is just not really comparable to what INnoVation has to work with here. Good tank placement at least will stop the drop in the natural, and for now INnoVation will not quite find an entry point.
No, and SpeCial is mining more while this is going on, and so the seconds that go by are better for it or it's SpeCial. Oh, the Vikings going to take out these 2 medevacs, so this is very bad for INnoVation. This counter harass that was meant to deal damage just got absolutely shut down. Nice Marines kills, but that's making good out of a terrible situation, I feel.
Yeah, this was meant to be so good for INnoVation. He's not found a single opening. Once again, he can't get in.
Go to the natural. SpeCial was killing his own engineering bay here. Okay, he just realized, unsieged, and can you imagine if he stopped his +1? That would have been terrible.
I know, +1 attack as well was the one under attack, right? It's really not pretty. Unfortunately, he does save. I mean, upgrades are still going to be an issue for him in the future without killing that. So that's still the one thing INnoVation can lean on. But he lost a lot of units here trying to deal damage in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, he did. Like the upgrade advantage that INnoVation's going to have is absolutely a big one. I gotta give credit to Inno though. Look at the SCV count. Like, even though he lost how many workers? 18. He's actually evened it up. And the supply overall, like that amount of money that he plumped into upgrades, like that's quite an investment. Special's armory has only just started, by the way. So INnoVation's definitely getting himself more than back into this game.
Nice little drop in the main base as well. This is now INnoVation on the defense, and this drop's already going to do more than anything that INnoVation got done going across the map himself. That's double reactor kills on the starport as well. He's actually going to get in and trade well against these Marines, and well, I mean, this is one of these moments where upgrades are even, so you're going to need the right amount of Marines to fight this off, and INnoVation just didn't respect this. He didn't send the units to deal with it. That's a third reactor now dead.
It is, even rebuilding it right in his face, and he gets away with it, but this drop from SpeCial, it's bought him so much time. Like, he can breathe, he can relax. He's got his fourth base floating over. INnoVation was a bit greedier there. He did just build his fourth on location, but with that amount of lost mining that he had there, that's... These guys are definitely going back and forth within regards to punching each other in the face.
Yeah, and they really are as well, right? It's, you know, there's not been one fight which is like, ooh, you know, that's okay. It's everything's been very decisive, as we do see SpeCial coming back into the main base, and he's going to get a few SCVs. Looks like he'll get the Viking. By getting the Viking, he clears the way for the medevac to get out, and that drop is still a problem. Has 3 siege tanks defensively, but they only reach so far, and at the very least, the sensor tower is in trouble now.
I do like INnoVation's positioning here, though. Like, it's very hard to engage, and SpeCial didn't really have that much to defend, so now he's going to be losing a lot of SCVs, and he's behind in upgrades here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is actually really bad for SpeCial.
That one siege tank trying to save the day. A few extra Marines finally getting into the fight. That one tank's going to be overrun. The power of 2-2 against 1-1 as INnoVation continues forward into the natural. Now he'll keep on trading. And boy, SpeCial never even saw +2 armor, by the way. So the upgrade disadvantage SpeCial is at is gigantic. INnoVation gets a lot done. 21 SCVs killed, and the game turns around yet again.
Oh my goodness. This is one thing that's really... This might be the story of today. Like, these guys know how to make workers. INnoVation's up to 83 SCVs, so his macro has been nothing but super on point. SpeCial shows that he's scanning there at the third. That's going to be his next point of attack. INnoVation might just pounce on this unexpectedly.
Yeah, he's going to go and stim in. The tanks will not siege, and INnoVation gets a pretty good spread, right? And he's still 2-2 against 1-1 to Muslim. We cannot emphasize enough how important these upgrades are in these fights. And look at the landslide of supply in favor of INnoVation now. 50 supply up or so, as this drop still being annoying, but no longer. Medevac shot down, and SpeCial now has nothing on INnoVation's side of the map, and INnoVation has all the numbers on his side.
Can't believe I'm looking at what I'm looking at. Like, SpeCial's killed 34 workers this game. INnoVation's killed 27. But INnoVation's still on 80 SCVs versus 65. Like, SpeCial's just fighting an uphill battle. And he has been this whole time. His +2 armor is not even halfway done. And INnoVation, he's getting close to that 3-3 upgrades as well. He's even upgrading his tanks very nicely. I'm very, very impressed by INnoVation, because this all started off with that blundered Raven attack that he's trying to defend, which was super good by SpeCial, but INnoVation just knows how to macro, man. What a machine.
Blundered Raven attack, and didn't even get anything out of the advantage he had after that, right? So it was crazy as we see our Marines tanks pressing forward. I mean, this is obviously a tank position that just probably won't be broken down. I mean, as SpeCial finally gets one of his +2 upgrades, +3 is about to finish from INnoVation. So the upgrade lead has been a major part of this throughout. And it's one thing INnoVation wasn't able to capitalize on with 1-1 as much. But the 2-2 versus 1-1 lead has been really ridiculous.
Yeah, and trying to repair your PF against that many tanks, and I mean, it's not going to happen. Can the SCVs escape though? That's a nice little, you know, silver line into that very, very dark cloud. Liberator is out now, and SpeCial can potentially stay alive, but INnoVation's just consuming the map. He's up to 5 bases now. He's already up to 3 starports, producing Vikings and Ravens, getting ready for that switch. And the thing is, SpeCial, he can't even deal with what he's up against now. This is looking very grim for the Mexican. Yeah,
it's the only good thing is that SpeCial only has 3 bases to defend, because that makes it easy, right? So he'll survive, but not in a good kind of way, as Marines might just give themselves up to get rid of this Liberator to keep this position on the third. In fact, he's got Vikings, so Vikings will get the job done, and now we've got a third CC lifted up, and SpeCial will admit defeat. a back and forth game on Death Aura sees INnoVation coming out with the lead.
I'm super impressed by INnoVation. I think SpeCial did a good job of getting that lead early on, and he was very quick with the with how to utilize the Ravens, and that was a big deal for getting him quite a lead. I'm even looking at this graph now. SpeCial was pretty significantly ahead there. But yeah, INnoVation's macro, like, that's one thing we've always known him for, right? Like, just being an absolute macro machine. And that game really showcased that this boy, whether he's taking a break or not for a week, whether he's just fibbing, second game of the series will be Submarine, by the way. Yeah, INnoVation definitely wasn't unbreakable or untouchable, but SpeCial, like, that game definitely showed us that he's going to need a few kind of like fortunate things to happen with him if he wants to keep up with INnoVation.
You mentioned the graphs, and I actually looked at the graphs, and I feel like those points, yes, SpeCial got ahead an army supply, but INnoVation actually had the same resource collection all the way through the game, despite him falling behind at times, because he was so good at producing SCVs. And I think the one thing, and I don't want to harp on about it, but it has to be said, the upgrades. And it's the one thing INnoVation had early in the game, and he tried to capitalize on it, he couldn't, but they were such a big influence in the later fights. There were so many fights that should have been even that were complete landslides because INnoVation had 2-2 against 1-1, and eventually it became like 3-3 against like 2-1 at the end of the game because SpeCial got +2 armor even, and it was just upgrades. A game won by upgrades, I think, for INnoVation.
Yeah, I don't want to just point it out to like it being upgrades. It was the fact that INnoVation knew what to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Like he was like, okay, what is my advantage? Okay, my units are stronger right now, even though I've got fewer. So I'm going to try and take these little fights, these little skirmishes, to trade efficiently, and then I'll try and develop up behind it all. It was just very, very smart play by the Korean. Anyhow, spawning in the top left side of Submarine, it is INnoVation.
In the bottom right-hand side, our red Terran is SpeCial.
I think that's one thing that's pretty crucial as well. Knowing which way you lead, be it economically, be it tech, which tech, be it upgrades, be it units. Like, there's so many ways to swing around a matchup. And TVT more than any, I feel at the moment, given that there's so many different openings as well, trying to keep on top of everything is actually a ridiculously tough thing to do and to realize on the fly. But, you know, both these players did very well with the little advantages that they had at different points. Just INnoVation, just such a beast. We already have a deviation in builds here, by the way, Wardy. So we've got the gas first variation by SpeCial, and we have the barracks double gas, like with the barracks first variation from INnoVation. So it'll be fun to see how they match up new versus old, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the gas first just gives you that gas count a little bit fast. You can see that SpeCial was about 30 gas ahead. Obviously his barracks is then that little bit later, so his Reaper starts a little bit later on, and we'll get ready to go factory here straight away from SpeCial. Do you think there's anything in particular that can come aggressively off this? Is one of these builds better for staying on one base with, or is this typically always going to just lead into that expansion after factory?
It's so they always lead into the factory afterwards, but the real clincher, because I'll be honest, INnoVation's build is very new to me. SpeCial's build, it can definitely be like a proxy starport with a Liberator kind of thing. Like, you obviously can utilize more gas earlier. It leads very well into Raven builds and like getting a Cyclone early on. The thing that INnoVation's build does is allow you to get a CC up faster, and given the gas is a little bit less, it allows you to get like a Widowmine out, a Hellion out. It allows you to try and do dropship play. INnoVation Scout here, by the way, seeing that starport as early as is, that allows INnoVation to know that he's up against a very aggressive variation, and INnoVation's going to win out in the little Reaper War here. So SpeCial wants to be aggressive with this, and he's already lost a unit early on. This is terrible for him.
Yeah, the starport before an expand, always signifying aggression, and now it's like, well, what do you do? Barracks builds a tech lab, and, well, yeah, it looks like SpeCial is just getting ready to expand himself. So what's the starport? Is this going to be like a very fast Raven or something? Look, Banshee?
Nah, I'd imagine that it's a Raven, but
yeah,
given that he lost a unit early on, it might be the Banshee with Cloak and stuff. By the way, INnoVation's build is super wild. Like, he actually skipped a lot of the normal stuff that you normally do with this build and was like, you know what? I'm getting a Cyclone. I'm going to get out Marine production very quickly. So he skipped the Hellion, skipped the Widowmine, and just got out that safety Cyclone. But I think that's a lot about the fact that he very early scouted his opponent that wanted to be aggressive against him. And, you know, INnoVation, he's doing a lot of the really good stuff that you can do in TVT and really make the matchup his own.
It's also a very small map, right? So there's a lot of, you know, safety units really go a long way here, because if you don't have them and your opponent just walks across the map and gets that siege up, you're taking a lot of damage. Then it becomes extremely difficult to break, as we'll trade out for this Widowmine, it seems. Get rid of that, and then it gives him access to the natural, but not expecting much to happen. This Banshee's out on the map without being seen, so the Cyclone won't be in position defensively.
And INnoVation's actually moving across the map with, I don't know what it is yet. I just see a blue mob marching across the map. INnoVation has to be careful, though, because he has to know that something's out soon, and he does march away, but not without taking a tank volley.
It's going to get a little weird, this Cyclone getting low. It's difficult to really take down that high ground siege tank, right? So then what can you really do? Loses the Cyclone, so I think this is over in terms of across the map, but then this Banshee shows up, so now it's Special's turn to deal some damage, and there are 2 Marines here to try and turn this around.
Yeah, this is definitely problematic, because this is dealing way more damage than it should. I mean, INnoVation invested in 2 Cyclones. This kind of just shouts at me, INnoVation just being way too confident. That being said, 3 SCVs for the amount of counter damage he did. INnoVation still takes a pretty nice spot in this game thus far, and now we have that chase. The Cyclone, will it actually get this Banshee? And INnoVation, you bloody legend.
Yeah, nice catch, good army movement, good prediction of where that Banshee will be. Nice to clean it up, just because it can be an issue again, right? You don't want to have to invest turrets like you did last game. You know, he had to spend a lot of money just trying to shut the Banshee down last time, which was obviously just an annoyance. So yeah, that's cool and all. There's a second Raven on the way here from INnoVation, but SpeCial is already diving into Viking production. He absolutely wants to get a siege up and just make this siege work, and that's why he's fighting so quickly and so early for this Viking control.
Yeah, and even though 2 Ravens are better than 1, when a Raven first pops out, it's only got 1 turret available, which is obviously a strong unit, but SpeCial is looking to deal a lot of damage here. That was a nice SCV scout to spot this army. It will get a siege up here.
Ooh.
And an interference matrix and a turret goes down. This is very bad for SpeCial, and this might be it for his push. His Raven going down, the tanks go down as well. INnoVation, wow, INnoVation takes out SpeCial very easily, 2-0.